Every great story starts with a dream. Our dream belonged to one man, Tosin Eniolorunda. In 2015, Tosin looked at the financial system in Nigeria and thought, this should work better. He sold that dream to his friend and fellow engineer, Felix Ike, and together with a small band of believers, they formed TeamApt. And even after 10 years, we remain committed on our mission, grinding to create financial happiness for Africans everywhere. 2015, Nigeria's financial system was, to put it simply, broken. Millions of people were unbanked. For ordinary people, financial access was slow, expensive, or plain impossible. Tosin had experienced this firsthand, and he knew he could solve it.
I met Tosin at InterSurge. Fast forward to 2014, May 2014. I remember this vividly. We went out for lunch and we walked around the whole of Okarawo, and he was preaching the idea of starting a company today. The goal then was to see how we could build products for banks, taking advantage of opportunities that other fintechs were not moving at. That was the beginning of the idea of TeamApt.
I was still a student in school. Tosin was just starting out the company. So he was looking for people that could join him in the endeavor.
So I was at the end of my NYSC and I was like at a crossroads. I was deciding whether I was going to stay in Nigeria or whether I was going to go back to the East to do my master.
And so a friend of mine, who was also a friend of Tosin at the time, kind of recommended me.
Felix, my classmate at the time, he served in Lagos and he served with Tosin in InterSwitch. Felix reached out to me and said, hey, there's something that Tosin and I are starting or have started. Would you be interested in joining? And I said, okay. I mean, it was the beginning of my career. I had no career to speak of. And I was up for the challenge and I was also young. So I was like, oh, I'm taking a risk, but what's the worst that could happen?
I was on a bike. And the next, I saw him, he called from a number I never knew. So he said something like, if you were my brother, I will not tell you to do what you're about to do. I know you're about to join this competitor. I'm telling you to just come and meet me, just a meeting. And then you are turning me down, you don't want to come. And why? And I was on the call like this, and I said, who is this? Where is this? He said, Felix said, you're not coming. Now why? Just come and talk to me. If you don't like it, just come, let's talk. This was Tosin in Orlando. Then I went on Friday.
I remember meeting Tosin for the first time. He was working out of 1004.
So I joined TeamApt in 2016. I joined shortly after a get-together they had in 1004 at the time, which was also the office. Adrian had invited me. He told me of a project management role that they had opened. I came for the interview with Tosin.
So I went to meet Tosin's apartment and he just gave me like a speech.
It was not very formal.
Maybe like a 10-minute conversation.
He asked like practical questions. I guess it was just not like any of the interviews I had gone for before. Not that I had even gone for that many. But I found him very interesting.
I think the thing about Tosin was the way he pitched the company. It was unlike anything at the time.
So you know when somebody believes something and he makes you believe in that thing, even though you know nothing about it.
You should see the way this guy was preaching TeamApt, as if you could see what was going to happen. He didn't, he couldn't see the future. He was sure, very convinced that this thing would do it.
The confidence with which he spoke to me, like he was so sure about something, like the dreams that is reality right now. He painted it then. I resumed on Monday.
That conversation was the end of it. After that conversation, we agreed that this is where we're headed. It was more mine.
So after the talk, he asked me when I can resume, and I told him I was ready to start immediately.
And then he goes, oh, okay, so you're starting on Monday.
This was a new opportunity. It was like the first time I dealt with a startup. So I was coming in as, I think, hire number 7 or 6, can't remember. You are coming in, you're new, but you're also going to be doing a lot of stuff.
If I was summarize that first experience, it was like, it's either you sink or you swim.
We used to have this explanation, this this joke about drop you as a jar. You bring somebody and you just put him there, and then he swims or sinks.
They will dump you in the middle of the ocean.
I think the methodology there for Tosin was hire smart and sharp individuals. They will figure themselves out.
And that's what differentiated people that stayed and people that had to leave.
It sort of rubbed up very well in my own impression, because it felt to me like, look, this is the place. Everybody was equally very smart individuals and you grow very fast. It was that level of certainty that even led me to say, look, I'm going to join, I'm going to stay.
It was a small team, but they carried a big dream.
First project I walked into was a project in Fidelity Bank at the time. It was automate some of the things that were doing manually today. That was one of the first projects that I worked on, now known as Profectus, and later bundled as a product that we sold to other banks.
So I think the first thing was figuring out how to deliver cut the promises related parts. We had to be sold it. This is one of the problems, figuring out the product itself. The second problem was keeping up with demands. I think within a very short period of time, we took a lot of projects from different banks. And it means you would have too many customers demanding for attention. And every bank could tell you, our product you're supposed to have gone live yesterday, so you must prioritize it. So when everybody is saying prioritizing a product and you have limited resources, you end up stretching yourself thin, trying to meet the demand. So
The early days were pure hustle, a group of people coding like their lives depended on it. TeamApt's first focus was building solutions for banks. The work was invisible to most, but it mattered. Banks relied on their systems to help reconcile millions of transactions.
people were sleeping at the bank locations, and sometimes you'd be in a particular bank and then you realize this other customer is screaming and everybody will run to that customer to calm the customer down.
It was really crazy for me. There was a time I used to sleep in First Bank. It was, we had tight deadlines, and I was kind of doing the work that was meant for plenty of people, like at least 3 people. So I was doing like a lot of work at the time. So the period really stretched me. It wasn't an easy experience, but I learned a lot of things, and I also grew greatly during that period.
For all intents and purposes, we were bank staff. We were bank staff that were not formally employed because we were in their business. We had to understand what they were doing to automate what they were doing. I learned a lot about banking, working on those kind of projects, the first projects we worked on.
One of these products, a reconciliation tool for POS transactions, changed everything. By 2018, 26 of the country's 30 banks were already using it. This first set of customers were more than a milestone. It was proof that Tosin's vision was possible, proof that the team's hard work meant something. This trust gave TeamApt the confidence to keep building.
First time Perfectus white line actually had like a serious problem. We're just able to harden it by just like pushing through whatever challenges came to us. We were confident that we had like technical gears to handle it. So just like sticking. Never had challenge at first insurmountable. I think that has been a lot to do with that as well. Especially that early on. We had like all to write. Nobody felt stressed working like long hours, but nobody felt like I cannot do this.
There were some key events that I would say were very impactful while we're doing this. I remember one day I was on my way to Fidelity Bank. I was in a bus, and then 2 ladies were talking about a product that they were using in their bank. And they were praising the product, saying how the product has made life easier for them, one that they were taking hours to complete, like a whole day. You come in the morning and you will be massaging Excel files from morning till evening, sometimes late into the night. But with this product, we just click a button, you to just download the files, process it, and do the posting, That product was a product we were working on, perfected. It was a form of confirmation that your efforts are actually yielding results.
and people are benefiting from what you were doing.
After years of serving banks, Tosin asked an important question. What about the consumers themselves?
The way the entire journey started was we used to build solutions for some of the large agency banking providers at the time. And Tosin, had the idea that let's go on, let's see if we can do this thing.
I was one of the people that I think it sort of like had an impact on, because what I was working on the product, Perfectus was called. It was one of the lasting products that we had building from banks. It was settlement and reconciliation with the banks. So the product Moniepoint was being built already.
And the kind of ambition we had when we started the company was to build something tangible.
And also Sticky was in control of the kind of experience these customers were having.
And we experimented a lot. I think I was on an experiment as well. One of the experiments was agency banking, which today is known as Moniepoint.
That's how Moniepoint was born. At first, it was a product, providing access to banking services for people who were left out of the financial system, especially those in rural areas without ATMs or banks.
In an effort to bank the unbanked, you have to look for unconventional means to bank them. The most obvious thing to do is supplement banking, like brick and mortar banking that we know of. That experiment now became our main source of revenue. We phased out all the projects with the banks. We took all the knowledge and expertise that we had gained working with the banks, brought them in-house and built for ourselves.
I'd say the selling point at that stage was reliability, first of all, and easy customer support.
We had to do the product that they could trust. So when they are transacting with us, they can be absolutely sure that transactions will be successful.
And if everybody is failing, Moniepoint should be working.
Now, if Moniepoint is failing, then everybody is failing.
At the time I got to know about Moniepoint, I started with other MMO. Their settlement was not an instant settlement. It was 24 hours. And with the demand of customer here and there, with the little cash we have, we are looking for where we can get a better service. And it's like somebody who has been thirsty for something. So I begin to ask, when will they come out? Another thing that really convinced me to wait for them is that they said it's going to be an instant settlement against what had been the order of the day, 24 hours. So with that, and more also, they promised us having a constant network. So those are the three things that really convinced me to wait for them. And when I saw the product and we tested it and I saw the way it works, really, it was waiting for. So that's what really convinced me. And I was really excited when I saw the product.
But Moniepoint wasn't the team's only attempt. We went into full product mode, building, experimenting, and testing ideas. Not all of them worked. Some failed completely. Out of that phase came Monnify.
I still remember my first proposal when I joined TeamApt was for our Perfectus solution for those that in the early days, right? And that was to some of the microfinance bank I was working with. Now, I remember that at the point in time I joined was when the organization had a strategic shift from providing the solutions that were currently being put in the market to the solutions that were, and which was focused mainly on banks, right? To solutions focused on business, B2B product. In the early days when I joined, most of these products were still work in papers. Some of these products were still in papers. We have not even started building the product. We had the idea, we're still dotting the I's, crossing the T's, right? I remember one of the solutions, if you look at the first product that I owned when I joined was Monnify. And I still remember in the early days, I was one of those, call me the Thomas in the room. I was the last disciple to be sold because I had an idea as regards how or what payment should look like. But Tosi was hell-bent on, we should automate transfer. Transfer is the in thing. So I was one of the disciples that was convinced a little bit later, but
And I still recall our first engagement. Imagine when we're going for presentations, our first presentation, and most of the stuff were still abstract because it was not yet existing. This was a new product that was not yet existing in the market. So some of the people were still shaking their heads. I remember myself and Toby going for some presentations, and the feedback we'll get is like, come on guys, this product will never see the daylight. It was really interesting because we're literally building from ground zero. Okay, some of us were still not even convinced that this is the main real thing.
It only took off when we pioneered virtual accounts, the first of its kind in Nigeria. E-payments could now be confirmed via transfers, and that single feature unlocked trust. Today, virtual accounts are everywhere, but it all started with Monnify.
I mean, we're literally automating transfer payments. Like we were telling you that, see, we have the data to show that Nigerians are using transfer as their preferred payment method generally, right? The success rate is 97%. And we have found a way to digitalize that entire process for you as the merchant, right? And that was what we're telling them. But it seemed like they didn't really understand, or there was some, like, not fear, but there was a bit of skepticism to accept the product at first. But in 2020, that was a turnaround year for us. It really was, because we had the pandemic and businesses had to run. And who was there to rescue Monnify?
There was this whiteboard we had in the office where we're tracking performance, and we're literally building from our first transaction to each milestone. When we started processing 10 transactions a day to when we started processing 100 transactions a day. As of then, a big win for us was an organization that was doing 20 transactions a day. I don't know if you can appreciate that information. Like, if we had a merchant that was doing 20 transactions a day, that was a win for us, okay? Because remember, this was new. The real excitement was the fact that we had a lot of businesses, a lot of use cases that came out because of this use, because of the virtual account payment. Just watching the journey, watching the numbers build over time, watching the different organizations across different sectors, okay, watching the different use case that we've been able to apply, watching the critics, watching other organizations that had mentioned this virtual account will never make sense. I think, yeah, it's a beautiful story. And today, if you look at virtual account, literally there is no payment gateway in Nigeria today that does not leverage the virtual account. So we feel proud that this is something we started, this is something we bettered, and has become mainstream today.
But building something this impactful was never easy. Regulations shifted, networks failed, the odds were often against us. Still, the team adapted. Every challenge became a lesson. Every obstacle made Moniepoint stronger. Grit became a part of who we are.
There were times we've lost money. There were times we've lost money. Oh my goodness. There were times, I think during the early days of Moniepoint, when it was still agency banking, we ran a wallet system, and the checks and balances were not all that great. I think we lost a couple of millions, and we spent a lot of time recovering that money. So have there been crises? Yes, a lot of crises. But we've weathered the storm. Thankfully, it did not bankrupt the company. We were able to recover, learn from it, grow stronger, put things in place to stop them from happening.
We all just had an idea of what we were trying to achieve. Like, over the years, we all knew what we're trying to do. So regardless of the mistakes, people learned, people got better, people grew. You understand? So that was it.
In 2020, Moniepoint became Nigeria's largest agency banking solution, processing $7 billion monthly in 120 million transactions. At the same time, Monnify also powered online merchants, processing $22 million monthly in 500,000 transactions. In 2021, Moniepoint applied for a microfinance bank license. On the 14th of February 2022, we received our Valentine's gift. Moniepoint became a bank. This wasn't banking as usual. This was business banking designed for the real economy. And the impact was clear. Businesses stayed alive, entrepreneurs grew, jobs were created. Moniepoint wasn't just part of the economy, we were driving it. By 2024, Moniepoint had become one of Africa's leading financial ecosystems, powering businesses and individuals. That same year, we raised a Series C and became valued at over $1 billion. But that valuation was not the story. The story was the millions of people who could now transact with confidence.
When it comes to the impact of Moniepoint, I went to my village, and I saw a Moniepoint terminal. And my village is one of the really, really remote part of the country, right? You can see, and I tell people, you can feel the impact that Moniepoint is making in the streets. It is not one of those products where you need to explain to your mom or your dad or someone, no. So I can tell you for sure that we are solving real problems, and we are fulfilling dreams for businesses and individuals, right? So in terms of our impact, and I think it's one of the things that get me excited when I go out, when I go to a store, when I go to a gas station, when I hear individuals making feedback, or you meet a lady that was selling on the roadside, now she has a store and she's telling you about the impact or how Moniepoint or working with Moniepoint has led her organization to that, whether in form of credit or in form of automating her businesses.
The growth, the impact itself just it astounds me, it really does. And it's humbling actually, because we set out to do one thing and we have done it. You know, we have impacted so many lives, as a lot of people, a lot of businesses would attest to, and we have not stopped there.
A woman was praising Moniepoint, just a customer, just out of the blues, praising Moniepoint for helping her in her business, because now she was able to pay school fees for her kids and a couple of other things. Those kind of videos are heartwarming. I mean, where we are, we might not necessarily see what the product has done for people, but we've seen one or two testimonies here and there, and that's enough to keep you going.
Behind every transaction, every machine, every innovation are people. Moniepoint's story isn't just about technology. It's about the people who believed when no one else did. The first employees who took the leap of faith, the engineers who built tirelessly, and the teams who have supported customers day and night. We built modern products. We built a culture of resilience, innovation, and trust.
Culture has evolved very much in the past couple years. There are some things that have just remained there. One of the things that Tosin was very insistent on at the beginning was technical depth. And that was not whether you're an engineer. And I think that makes us get top tier staff, regardless of the field or the job family or the function that they find themselves in. It also makes for good people who would kind of mentor the next set of people to be even better. I think we still have a good thing going at Moniepoint right now. It's evolving, yes, and even that evolution is good because there's a lot more clarity, there's a lot more structure. We are now an international workforce, so we are very conscious about international labor standards. I'm just trying to make it a really good place to work for everyone, whether it's the Nigerians or our foreign staff.
An experience that you gather in 20 years has been compressed. You've seen it in 7 years. And it's not like you just jumped to that level. You've actually done the work. You've been faced with that challenge.
10 years in, we're proud of all we've achieved, but we know this is only the beginning.
We've done a couple of things. We've touched a few people, but there's still more to be done, right? The market in Nigeria, we haven't captured. Forgive me if I'm a bit greedy in this regard, but we haven't captured as much as we should be able to capture.
The next phase I think we are facing is how to scale our applications to an international level and how to scale our business to international level as well. So I'm really looking forward to all those initiatives being completed, and I can't wait for it to happen.
Our focus is to continuously develop our platform, services, and our distribution channels so that Moniepoint becomes available to anyone, anywhere.
Think about what we have done in Nigeria. With that, our focus, with our determination, and with the talent we have in this company. And now we are directing that to potentially the rest of the world, which is an unlimited opportunity in theory, because it is tremendously exciting and there's so many opportunities. And we are on a course here, with Money World and with some of the other initiatives we have to kind of look at opportunities outside Nigeria. And it's just tremendously exciting. We have the talent, we have the capabilities, we have the growth capital, and sky is really the limit here.
This is the story of Moniepoint, a story of resilience, a story of innovation, a story of people who dared to dream. And even after 10 years, we remain exactly where we started, grinding on our mission to create financial happiness for Africans everywhere.